Creatures of the night, let's talk about AEW Collision. We started off with Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. Now, we have seen both Shane Taylor and Lee go against Jon Moxley recently. And in the last match on Rampage, we did have Jon Moxley and Lee Moriarty with a very, very great match. Now, after the match, obviously, Lee Moriarty took the L. However, Shane Taylor and Lee, they're not happy about it, so they went and attacked Jon Moxley, and surprise, surprise, no one came out to help Jon Moxley. So here is Claudio coming out to be a good friend and team up with his boy against Shane Taylor Productions. And I was really glad to get a chance to see that these guys, Shane and Lee, are getting an opportunity to, be on Collision. That's one, because they usually are on Ring of Honor. And they are really great wrestlers who are often overlooked for whatever reason in AEW. So I'm glad they got a chance to get some TV time. Now, I did enjoy this match, and I'm glad to see that these guys are getting that, chance that they need. But at the end of the day, we already knew that it was definitely going to be one of those situations where BCC was definitely going to come out on top. But I feel like, we got a chance to see a really great performance out of Shane and Lee. Now, I don't think it's too late at this point to still, do what Bryan Danielson said way back when he said that Lee Moriarty could be a member of BCC. I think there's still time to do that if they want to do that. I feel like the Lee definitely needs that push, the same way how they pushed, Wheeler Yuta to be what he is right now. We could do the same thing with our boy Lee Moriarty. Now, obviously BCC does take the win, and it was a really great opening match. However, I want to see more of Lee and Shane Taylor on Collision, or just on AEW. Period. They are still, I would say, overlooked on Ring of Honor as well. But these are really great performers that just need some time put on them so that they can go ahead and do their thing, and everybody can see how great of wrestlers that they are. Up next, we have Commander. He's backstage with Lexi, acting like he's about to do an interview. We already know he's not going to do an interview. Now, he is standing there with her, and before he can even say a word, here are the Undisputed Kingdom and Roderick. They are there. Roderick has his opportunity to go for the AEW International title at Revolution against Orange Cassidy, and he tells Commander, hey, if you need any help beating Orange Cassidy, we're your guys. And I'm just like, okay, what? And then he goes and just grabs Commander's hand and shakes his hand, and Commander's confused, Lexi's confused, I'm confused too. Now, we do get this match with the two of them, and I do think that it was okay. I'm just like, well, what do you expect from these two? Honestly, I would have loved to see the Butcher. I would have loved to see Kip Sapien get that opportunity to go against Orange Cassidy, but however, it just didn't happen. So the match was all right to me. We did have the Undisputed Kingdom and Roderick. They're sitting ringside watching the match, and then they take an opportunity to help Commander, who is walking on the rope to go to the other side to dive onto Orange Cassidy, while the Undisputed Kingdom are holding Orange Cassidy down. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to complain about this. Orange Cassidy is annoying. I don't care what happens either way. So they held him down. However, Orange Cassidy breaks free from the group, and then here is Commander end up diving onto the other three. Now, Commander comes into the ring, and that was an advantage that Orange Cassidy needed to take the win, and he retains the title. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, I'm over it. Now, here we are. Matt Menard, he is back there holding on to Daniel Garcia, who's laid out with fake blood and everything. I know it's fake. It just did not look real to me at all. And I was just like, hold on, Tony Khan, you're a billionaire. You can't afford better blood than this. Anyway, he just got attacked by the House of Black. We don't see the attack, but we already know what went down, and they got to take him to see the doctors to make sure that he is okay. And you know what? I'm just like, all right, they're bringing a little bit of drama into this. I have no problem with that at all, but the fake blood was really throwing me off. Up next, we get a pre-recorded promo from Tony Storm from Dynamite. Tony Storm says things are much more personal between her and Deanna, because Deanna had attacked Luther, and Tony Storm is holding on to Luther like he is just a lost little child and looking for his mama. And I'm just like, this is absolutely golden. I love it. Now she's saying obviously that things are more personal because of what happened to Luther, and Mariah May interrupts and she's just like, Miss Storm, I have a match on Collision. Will you be attending? And Tony's like, no, bitch, I got other things to do, but good luck with your match. Now, I absolutely love what's going on with the three of them. I do feel like at some point, Mariah's just going to get mad as fuck one day and just beat the shit out of Tony Storm, and they'll end up having a match. So I'm cool with it. Now we have Swerve, and obviously there's a dealer's choice situation where they get to choose each other's opponents. Now Swerve picks Hangman's opponent, and he chooses Toa Leona, and Toa is looking so intimidating, so good, and I'm just like, yes, this is a really great opponent for Adam Page, and I'm glad to see Toa do things on his own. And they did mention on commentary that Toa Leona has never lost a singles match. I did not know that. I don't even remember seeing him in any singles matches in AEW, but that's interesting. Now, here comes Hangman. Hangman is choosing Swerve's opponent, but then he decides that he's not going to say anything, and that Swerve is going to have to wait the whole effing show to find out who his opponent is. Obviously, he just dropped the name of the opponent. He was saying RVD without saying RVD, and I'm just like marking the fuck out, and I'm like, hold on, RVD? Are you serious? Now, like I said, they didn't say his name specifically, but that's what everybody's definitely going to expect, and I think that's a really great opponent for Swerve. Let's see how RVD does. I think it's going to be a really great match. Up next, we have Willie Mack versus Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston picked Willie Mack to be his opponent because they respect each other. Now, I think things started off great. However, Willie Mack had fucked up his knee, and then he goes for his typical standing moonsault. But because his knee had already gave out a few moments earlier, he could not do the standing moonsault, and he ends up landing on his head. Yes, it looked bad, and I was really concerned, but he was able to get up and, try to do his thing, but he just could not do the standing moonsault. But he goes and continues the match, and I think things went downhill from there. Obviously, Eddie Kingston ends up taking the win. It was a little difficult to watch because Willie Mack is very entertaining, very agile. He could do anything at his size, and I normally enjoy him, but unfortunately with that little knee thing that happened, it just wasn't a great match. Now, after the match, here is Eddie Kingston walking towards the back. He's still on the ramp, and here is Bryan Danielson theme music playing. Bryan walks past Eddie Kingston like as if Eddie wasn't even there. He's like, fuck him, I'm not even gonna acknowledge he exists, and he just walks right past him. Like, the way it happened was absolutely insane. Now, here is Eddie Kingston. He decides that he's gonna go sit at the commentator's table, and he's gonna give commentary. Now, we do have Bryan Danielson's opponent, Yuji Nagata, who comes out, and they had a really great match. A nice technical match. You guys know me, I love the technical style. And Yuji is fucking 55 years old, and he moves really well in the ring. You can tell that he's been doing this for a very long time. And on commentary, they're giving the history between Yuji and Bryan on commentary, which I really did appreciate as well. And this was definitely, a really great match here. And Yuji is really focusing on Bryan's shoulder, the left shoulder. And here is Nigel on commentary. And he's like, oh, well, I hope that's the arm that Bryan broke. And they let him know that it was not the arm, that Bryan had broke his right arm. And then he goes and tell Eddie Kingston, well, can you tell Yuji to go over there and tell him that he got the wrong arm? When I tell you, Bryan and Nigel, they obviously got this beef. But always we have Nigel talking shit about Bryan on commentary. And I'm just wondering, Is something going to happen where we see the two of these guys at All In? I would love to see that. Nigel has said that he has been cleared to wrestle, but we obviously have not seen him get in the ring since he's been in AEW. But either way, we have a really awesome match between Yuji and Brian. Brian does end up taking the win here. But one thing that we talked about earlier during my podcast, which is called the Lariat Lounge, by the way, we were talking about how does a match like this does anything for the talent in AEW. It's just Brian seeming to have matches with some, some established stars and also some guys from New Japan as well. Personally, I don't mind it, but I understand he's not getting in the ring with some of these young stars that could truly use having a match with Brian and even getting over, whether if they take a win or not. I still enjoyed it. Really, really great stuff. So now we have FTR and Lexi, and they are waiting outside the doctor's locker room. We have Daniel Garcia in the room. They're waiting on an update, but they haven't heard anything yet. Now, here comes Mark Briscoe, who comes out and say, look, I don't know what's going on with Daniel, but if he can't make it, I'm a ride or die. We can do this. I'll be your partner. And they're excited about it, and they're just going to wait to see if Daniel's going to be all right. Now, after this, we do have Brian Cage, who is upset because obviously they lost the 6-man tag titles. Then they lost the opportunity to win the trios title. And then he started going on a little bit of a rant about Hook, who's walking around with the FTW title. Brian said, man, I'm the one who put that FTW title on the fucking map. I don't see what's so great about Hook. Now, obviously, in AEW fashion, Hook just pops up out of thin air and he goes, well, if you want to go against me for it, let's go. So now we're going to have a match with Hook versus Brian Cage. And I find it interesting that Hook would be in another situation with another big guy like Brian. I'm going to be honest with you. Brian cannot afford to lose. He definitely needs... he needs a lot more than what he's been getting in AEW. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm actually hoping Brian takes a win. I ain't got no problem with Hook though, but Brian, he really needs it. Now after this, we do have Serena Deeb versus Robin Renegade. And I'm not going to lie, I was not happy about this because I like Serena. I really do like Serena. She is phenomenal in the ring. However, this was a squash situation. And after I saw a really amazing match between Robin Renegade and Abaddon on Ring of Honor, I was just like, whoa, could we have not picked someone else to put in the ring with Serena? They're building up these girls on Ring of Honor to be part of a TV title tournament for the new women's title that they're going to have in Ring of Honor. Why feed these girls to lose in AEW when you're building them up to possibly win a championship on another show? It just doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, Serena wins. She's excited. She said she's here to put the wrestling back into All Elite Wrestling. She's here to win championships, and she's here to elevate the women's division, and I really do appreciate that. However, that match, Robin did her thing in terms of selling and just doing the job. However, I was just not feeling it. If we're here to elevate the women's division, shit gotta make sense. And in my opinion, it just didn't make sense to me. Right before our main event, we do have a video package from CMLL. We do have some luchadors coming over. They will be on Rampage next week. We have Volador Jr., Mystico, Mascara Dorada, and Hechicero. They are all coming on Rampage. I don't know who they're going to be facing, if they're going to be facing each other or if they're going to be facing other people from the roster of AEW. Not sure, but I am actually excited to see something new on AEW. Now let's talk about the main event, which is an Escape the Cage match. Now the team with all their members out of the cage will take the win. So whichever one of them to do that first. FTR comes out, and then right after that, here comes Mark Briscoe. Everybody's excited to see Mark Briscoe. We love you, Daniel Garcia, but it would have been real cool to see Mark Briscoe in this situation because he's just so cool. However, the lights cut off, and Mark Briscoe gets attacked by House of Black on the stage, and they even launch his ass off the stage onto a table. Now, for a while, it is a 3-on-2 assault, And we do have Daniel Garcia, who comes out with his head all bandaged up. He got a chair in his hand. He is swinging, ain't missing. And I'm just like, yes, Daniel, yes. To be honest, I don't even know what the fuck they're all fighting about. However, Daniel Garcia has looked good being part of this storyline, so I'm not really mad at it. Now, the first two to get out of the ring was Dax Harwood and Brody King. They pretty much got out at the same time. Match continues for a bit, and then next we have Cash Wheeler and Buddy Matthews. They are both climbing up the cage, and they're gonna escape by climbing down. Now, as they climb down, they keep looking down, and they're like, "Damn, this is just we're just still way too high to jump down." So they're still climbing, but still fighting each other on their way down. Now, Buddy does end up pushing Cash onto a table that's outside the ring, and it's just beautiful, nice and clean spot. And then Buddy is still going to climb down. However, Malachi is like, bring your ass back up in here, let's take care of Daniel Garcia together. Now he is just getting ready to climb back up into the ring. However, Daniel Garcia ends up pushing Malachi, and he bumps into the cage, which obviously ends up pushing off Buddy off the cage, and he ends up falling on a table as well. Now it's just the two of them, Malachi and Daniel Garcia, and for a while they're fighting, and then Daniel Garcia, I'm not really sure what he did, but he was able to escape from Malachi Black, and he is climbing up the cage, but our girl Julia Hart goes and sprays the black mist onto Daniel Garcia's face. So now he is blind. He can't see a damn thing. And I'm just like, yes, that's exactly what they need. Now, Malachi is going to escape, and he is going through the door. And as he's about to do that, Daniel Garcia calls him back and said, "Hey, you barely did anything to me. Is that anything? Come in here and finish me off." That doesn't sound right, but you guys know what I mean. Malachi is like, "Gladly, I will go over there and just beat you into ruins, and then I'll leave the ring." So then he goes back, and they end up fighting some more. And we have Daniel Garcia, who ends up pile driving Malachi onto a chair. Now, Daniel, he goes to go and escape by climbing out of the cage, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then here is Malachi coming to his senses, because obviously it's going to take a little bit of time for Daniel to be able to do that. He comes to his senses, and he's just scratching and clawing his way so that he can go out the door. Ref opens the door for him to leave, and just as he's about to leave, Mark Briscoe swings that door right up on his face, and it pretty much knocks him out, and Daniel Garcia gets to climb out of the cage. And here's our winner, FTR and Garcia. This was actually a really great match. It was really fun. Once again, I don't know what the fuck they're fighting about, what they're fighting for, whatever the situation is, but I have actually been enjoying all these guys these past few weeks. I want to see so much more with the House of Black. Daniel Garcia is someone I want to see have a lot of success this year as well. The match was definitely really great. Brian's match with Nagata was another great match as well, and I also did enjoy the opener. Everything else was all right. Not too much to see here. Okay, episode of Collision was great. Main event definitely worth the watch. They already posted all these clips on YouTube, so if you guys didn't see them, go ahead and check it out. But guys, thanks so much for watching my review. Please check out my podcast. It is called The Lariat Lounge. So far, I'm only posting them on YouTube. I will be posting them on other platforms where they have podcasts real soon, but check me out there. And you guys already know, as always, you'll see me live streaming for Dynamite every Wednesday, so come see me then. Bye.